everyone. Welcome to our next episode, episode 4 in the Methods of Divination subseries,
where we're transparent about all the ways that we get guidance.
And today we're going to be talking to you about psychic song lyrics.
As I've mentioned in a couple of the last podcasts, song lyrics are one of my favorite ways to get guidance just because of how simple it is. They can come in anywhere, at any time, in any environment, even in the middle of your sleep. We've both had lyrics while we're dreaming.
And sometimes in between dream and awake, I'll often get different song lyrics that drop into my head.
And I've found that this happens for a lot of people. I start telling people that I hear random songs in my head, and they do too, especially like Sophia mentioned, upon waking up. And so I'm excited to make this podcast so that people can feel more confident with these seemingly random song lyrics that drop in no matter when and where they are, and realize that it's their guides giving them guidance and that they can find very valuable personal messages for themselves. The thing for me is that I make sure that it's not a song I've heard recently, meaning like during that day. I want to make sure it's not a song that's just stuck in my head because I heard it. However, I have found that my guides must be listening to what I listen to because quite frequently they use songs that I've listened to in the recent past, like within the past few weeks or month. And then rarely, but it does happen, I do get given songs that I've never heard before. When this happens, there's a couple apps, or even Google allows you to do this. Or what I do is I hum the tune that I'm hearing into the app or the Google recorder, and they come up with a list of possible songs that I might be humming and try to narrow it down that way. It doesn't always work, but it's always fun to get a message from a song I've never heard before, because then I know that I definitely didn't make that one up.
And I think it's fun to often hum it or try to sing it to each other, and if we don't know the song. And also just to pay attention to the particular lyrics that came in. It may or may not be the whole song, but it might be just the message of that lyric that dropped into your head.
Yeah, and then also sometimes they give you a song and they alter the lyrics. Like I will hear lyrics that are not the exact lyrics of the song. I hear them very clearly, but they're to the tune of the song.
And I've also had dreams where they've given me songs in the dream, and it's not a real song in the world that we live in here. So these messages can come in various ways.
One of the biggest things I want to highlight during this intro here is that the lyrics are how I differentiate a message being from my guides or my higher self versus my own mind chatter. And so they usually come in the sound of my inner voice, much like how it would sound if I'm just thinking. But when it comes through on a melody like that, that's how I alert myself to, oh, this is coming in from beyond me on some level.
And I think one of the funnest ways is when you just start spontaneously singing and you're like, oh, what am I singing? Oh, this must be a message.
And again, it happens for a lot of us, whether you already know it or not. And so if you're one of those people who has not been aware of it up until this point, hopefully after listening to this episode, you start to notice more of this for yourself. So I'll just reiterate, they often come through in the morning when our mind chatter is the quietest, but they also come through often during chores, like if I'm washing vegetables or taking a shower or working in the garage, something like that. But otherwise, there's not too much more to say about song lyrics here, so we'll just jump into some stories and illustrate how we've used song lyrics as guidance in our lives. And a lot of these are short stories. It's just one lyric with one message. So just a heads up, we'll probably fire off a bunch of short stories at you throughout this episode. So this first story is going to illustrate one of those times where they changed the lyrics. They weren't the exact lyrics of the song, and also show you how I got this message clearly immediately upon waking up.
We were in Moab, Utah with our dog Rossi and 2 of our close friends. We had a wonderful day that day, and we were at the campfire at about 11 p.m. when suddenly Rossi comes up to us, foaming at the mouth. His head was hanging down, which is something he does when he's not feeling well, and so we were pretty alarmed at that point. We're in the middle of the desert, 11 o'clock at night, no cell phone service, and we just jumped into action.
All 4 of us are trained healers. We all graduated together from the Barbara Brennan School of Healing, and we went to work. 3 of us went hands-on with him, doing what we do, clearing clouds, clearing parasites, running different colors of energy, and then noticing what we notice. And our other friend sat nearby, and she started channeling for him. And what came through were the supplements that he needed, which we had all of them in the truck. So we gave him the supplements, and he had a rapid turnaround.
He did, and we all remained really calm in this situation, which our friends kept commenting to us as his parents that, wow, you guys really stayed center and balanced when this could have been more of an emotional situation.
Yeah, and I give 2 reasons for that. One is because we've been through it with dogs before, and 2, if you're going to make any sort of energetic difference and do this energy work on him like we were, it's imperative to be in a calm, grounded state. Otherwise, you won't really have much of a positive effect.
So he had a pretty rapid turnaround. I would say maybe like 10 minutes. We had given him the healing and we had given him the supplements. And you could see he lifted his head and he was okay. He wasn't as sick as he was, and he stopped foaming at the mouth.
Yeah, we all went to our sleeping spots, which were, our friends were in 2 different tents, and we slept in the back of a pickup truck that night. And he was kind of running around looking for critters, making sure we're all safe like he does, which is a good sign. And he hopped up in the truck and got comfortable, went to bed. We weren't in any sort of panic mode at that point, and everyone slept well under the shooting stars. And then in the morning is when the song lyrics came through. It was literally the second I opened my eyes, I heard a song. And so a little bit of background here. My mother would brush her cat's teeth, and she made up her own song for them. And it goes, toothbrush, toothbrush, toothbrush time. How I love my toothbrush time. And so this is one of those examples of, like I said, the lyrics being changed, because what I heard loud and clear was, Rossi, Rossi, Rossi time. Rossi's gonna be just fine.
And he was that morning. He acted like his normal self. He ate breakfast. He drank water. So, wow.
And so is my anxiety. My anxiety was fine or non-existent, and it was totally thanks to those lyrics. Here's one that's fun for me to think about. I think about it from time to time because it's about a possible or probable past life that I may have had. And so the story is that I went to Thailand, and on my very first day in Thailand, my friend and I had rented some scooters, and we were driving them around the city of Krabi, and lyrics dropped in randomly, and the lyrics were, because I've been here before, different flesh, same soul. And it caught me by surprise. I was like, what? Is that true? I've lived here a past life in Thailand. So I haven't really tapped into any memories or any more knowledge about that since then, but I've always been curious.
This next one happens when I'm tired and been working hard, and the lyrics that will drop into my head are, there'll be no rest for the wicked. There's no song for the choir. And so I feel really supported and seen by Spirit and know that they've got my back.
Part of growing along one's spiritual path is changing how we present in the world through our thoughts, feelings, actions, and perspectives. And so a lot of the song lyrics that we get are just simple lyrics to help us do exactly that. And so the next few stories we're going to share are kind of vulnerable stories that illustrate how our guides and guidance have used song lyrics to help us make these subtle and sometimes not so subtle adjustments in our life. So starting with this story, one of my biggest repetitive messages that I've gotten from my guides is to quiet my mind and go to my heart. I have a really loud, active mind, and it comes at the detriment to my heartfelt senses, feelings, abilities, however you want to look at it. And so I got this lyric that's from the Jack Johnson song called Hope, and it says, "You don't always have to hold your head higher than your heart." And that lyric came in the morning during my breakfast routine, so I was able to purposely, with intention, quiet my mind and go to my heart for the rest of the day.
I was going through an emotional time in my life, and I was feeling a bit lost and really feeling like I was in need of some kind of support, basically. And so that night, in between dream and awake, I heard these 3 songs. The lyrics are, "I'm here for you." The next lyrics, "I'm going to take you further, further." And the next lyrics, "I surrender everything to feel the chance to love again. I reach to you. I know you can feel it too. We'll make it through." And the real song lyric says, "A chance to live again." And this is one of these instances where I feel like my guides changed the lyrics purposely to love instead of live, so that I could really focus on opening my heart again and opening to life and all the new possibilities that were before me. So I felt really supported by my guides after hearing these song lyrics that night, and woke up with a new sense of let's go get them in the morning, and really feeling like I had spirit behind me and they could see that I needed support, and really provided that for me during that night.
Every single one of us on this planet is unique, and one of the challenges we all face is to be that unique self rather than trying to fit the mold of the world around us. And especially in my case, as somebody who talks to spirit guides and angels and works with spirit animals and gets messages from beyond and does energy healing remotely and all this stuff that we'll just say is socially unique. I got this message from my guides, and the lyrics were, "My whole life I've been stressed out, worried about fitting in, don't know who I am, I just know that I'm different." And so it was really a push to be my true self, be my unique self, and put myself out there and let myself be seen.
Brandon had spoke about earlier how our guides are giving us these lyrics to help us with our personal transformation. And this next lyric is about my own resistance to making those changes. It goes, "I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid." And so that one was pretty clear to me that my guides were speaking to my resistance in making those changes in my life, the changes inside of me that would really help my spiritual growth. And so it was one I could laugh at for sure, but also I took the message to heart that it was time for me to stop resisting these changes that were really in my highest and best.
And I gotta just interject here and say that I've also gotten those exact same lyrics at times for the same reason. I think many of us will agree that the world around us, at least how it's portrayed through the media, is getting a little bit crazy these days. There's a lot to pay attention to, or a lot to try not to pay attention to, a lot to get distracted by. And I think my guides spoke to that one morning when they gave me the lyrics. "What's going on in the world today? People fussing, fighting, feuding, looting. It's okay. Let it go. Let it flow. Let the good times roll. It ain't nothing but music." And so they're just saying it's a bunch of noise. Stick to my path, stay centered, worry about me, worry about what I'm doing, and help where I can, make my impact where I can, but don't get distracted by all the things that there is to be distracted by.
And these next lyrics are lyrics that we've both gotten at different points in our lives, telling us not to take life so seriously and to really enjoy life. This song is by NF, and it goes, "Why I keep obsessing on and stressing all the little things when I should be
living life and soaking up the memories.
So this one is pretty easy to understand. Stop stressing all the little things. Really be in love with your family. Be in love with life. Enjoy it. That's what it's for. Life is here to be enjoyed.
Sometimes when we're not living life and soaking up the memories and stressing out about things, it's not necessarily for no reason at all. Sometimes things just go wrong. Things just hit the fan sometimes. And so I got these lyrics that were kind of just confirming that this was happening in our lives at one point. I just thought it was funny to get this confirmation in the form of lyrics. And they dropped in and said, "And if anything actually ever went as you planned." So it's at least being acknowledged that, things aren't going as I planned. But regardless, it's our job to push on through with as much grace as we possibly can.
I get a lot of song lyrics about the love shared between Brandon and I, and just really keeping that alive. So the song that I got goes, "Darling dear, I will love you for all time. I'm just a fool in love with you." Ooh, ooh. So such a tender and sweet song, and I haven't listened to that song in ages, and that was a direct message from Spirit, and I thought it was so sweet.
And this is just one example. She gets these lyrics quite often. It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Here's a short one, but I like it. I got the lyrics, and I get these from time to time because life is but a lucid dream. So it just keeps me motivated to be a creator in this life and understand that I can control to some degree where my life goes as I can in a lucid dream through emotional energy, perspectives, thoughts, your heart energy, and all that good stuff.
This one's happened twice now when I've been super happy and like on a high. And so it's really made me laugh when these lyrics have dropped in. I'm not much of a rapper, so I'm going to let Brandon do this one.
I'm not much of a rapper either, but the lyrics are, "I don't need Don Perignon, I don't need Chris Tangeray and Alizé, I don't need Kid Friendly. I'm high all the time, I blank, but blank, blank. I'm high all the time, ba-bump, ba-bump, bump."
And since we don't get high on anything other than life, Spirit was really telling me how much of a high I was on in life, and all the creation that I was doing and feeling my essence really just brought me this joy, pure joy. The last two stories in this episode are about Sedona, Arizona. They take place a year apart from each other.
The first one's a bit shorter, and the story is a friend of ours has a timeshare in Sedona, and we've never been. She invited us, and we were being pretty frugal at that point in our lives, and we were ready to tell her no, that we weren't going to make it maybe some other year. It just didn't feel like the right timing. We kind of talked ourselves out of it for a bunch of reasons, and then Sophia got a song in her head.
Yeah, I woke up one morning and the lyrics in my head were, "Tired of seeing adventures on cafe walls. Think I'll take a turn from the known road. Think I'll write a tale of my own. I'm going southbound." And this is a song by Rue Paynes, and it's called "Tiger Striped Sky."
And this came in on the morning that we were going to tell our friend no thank you. So it was pretty obvious that the guidance was to just go. And we went. It's been a couple of years since then, and nothing bad happened as a result of going. So
yeah, it was a great time.
Yeah, glad we didn't talk ourselves out of it, and we had a blast.
Yeah.
This last story took place, again, regarding a trip to Arizona with a bunch of our ex-classmates from the Barbara Brennan School of Healing. And we were all coordinating. It was a group of about 8 of us and trying to find an Airbnb to stay in. And Sophia and I were pushing for the cheaper options. And we were saying, like, oh, we'll set up a tent in the backyard and make more room for everybody in the house that way. And just kind of anything to save ourselves some money and still accomplish the mission of going there. It's just how we like to travel. And we had some other classmates who like to travel in more extravagant ways, and they were pushing for the $1.1 million home
Yeah.
Airbnb. That was more than twice as much, just a little more than twice as much, and we were resisting it, but we were kind of the only ones resisting it, so we are probably going to lose the battle either
Yeah.
way. But Sophia woke up one morning, right when this was all taking place, and got the lyrics.
Stop saying no, no, no. Say yes.
So we got very literal about that. We're like, okay, so what are we saying no to in life? Well, the only thing we can think of is this Airbnb in Sedona. So I guess we'll just say yes. So we hit up the class chat and let them know that we're down for the expensive one, and we went for it.
Yeah, it turned out great. We ended up getting the master bedroom suite, and it was a wonderful experience to be there.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, it didn't suck, but I guess that was the benefit of everyone knowing that we were a little bit hesitant, because they were more than accommodating. They're wonderful friends, and it was very nice of them. So they gave us the master bedroom, and we got to bring our dog, and they all split the dog fee. And if any of you guys are listening, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. But here's why this is a cool story. We got to the Airbnb, and the water heater didn't work. There was no hot water. And by the end of the 3 nights and 4 days that we were there, the management company for the Airbnb hit us up to let us know that they were very sorry and they would like to offer us 50% off, which was a huge win.
Yes.
We were all jumping for joy. And I was like, well, if you guys told me ahead of time that we could stay here for half price and it just meant we wouldn't have any hot water, I would have been all over that. So
Yeah.
it almost feels like when we got those lyrics, Spirit knew that either this was going to happen or that they were going to break the water heater for us so that it would happen. But it wasn't even that bad because we're used to cold water from our well up here, high up in the Rockies, which is like freezing cold. But the cold water in the desert where it's over 100 degrees outside is like still lukewarm.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Really wasn't bad at all, especially for a short period of time. So major blessing, and yeah, couldn't have come about with such ease without the guidance from these song lyrics.
Yep. Now it's time for our soulful send-off. These song lyrics that drop into our head have really helped us make some pretty cool decisions in our life, helped us to make self-transformation and grow in a positive direction, and just felt supported and loved and seen by Spirit and our guides in times where we needed it most.
And it really is an easy way for me to know that they're there. They're constantly there, and we're always being guided. It's not always that I can see them and, always in the state of dream or on the angel board or whatnot. So getting these lyrics often throughout many days is just a way to know that I'm not by myself. I'm being guided, and I just really love how easy it is. It's so easy. It's effortless, to be honest. It's maybe takes a little bit of work to quiet my mind to allow it to happen, and that's perhaps why they come in the most in the morning and during chores that are kind of mindless. But regardless, it's just a great way to get guidance, and I love the fact that when I share this with people, they often know that they themselves get lyrics but never understood that it's guidance. And so hopefully this episode prompts you to take a closer look at how lyrics and songs come into your own mental awareness in your life and see what kind of messages and guidance you can get from them.
And they can be super fun too, as some of our stories have demonstrated.
So thanks for listening to another episode. Look forward to just a couple more for our sub-series on Methods of Divination. And beyond that, we'll jump into some more full-blown, heartfelt stories.
Thank you for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Every week, we share our most recent divine guidance in an audio recording called Oracle Offerings. Sign up for only $5 a month at patreon.com/aspenroots.